Hello, Akko here again. Welcome to episode 39 of my Feed the Beast Ultimate Let's Play. I've made a couple of signs to remind me to tell you about a couple of things. Last time we had issue with the wind turbine running out. I'm just going to go into the lava station and see how that's going. So I say we've got a good amount of lava in there again. The pump's off at the minute, so it must have hit the level and flick the state cell in. The state cell's about to turn back on actually. Oh, there it goes. So the state cell just reached its time limit. I think I've set it to 3 minutes. If that's 5 minutes. Okay, that's set to 5 minutes. So you just saw that flick on. That's filling that back up. So that's working fine again. Now that the wind turbine's producing power for the batteries again. So that's all good. We can get out of there. Come back into the overworld. Right, a couple of notes I made for myself to remind you. UU for iridium, right, that's pretty self-explanatory. We can of course now start using UU matter to create more iridium, iridium, should I say, if we find ourselves not keeping up, and obviously now we're not keeping up. We're creating a good bit of emerald dust, but at some point we may want to put that second frame alveoli to platinum production as well, but that'll of course mean more centrifuges, because even with 2 centrifuges we've still got a little bit of a backlog. We're catching up, but we've still got a bit. This is the second video I've done today actually. Episode 38 was today as well, so not much time's passed since episode 38. That was this morning, and it's now late evening, well early evening should I say. So a great deal of time had passed. We've still got 24 platinum there, so adding more iridium now to that process would mean adding more centrifuges up here, so we're kind of gated now by them. While we're mentioning that, if we look at our stocks down here, we're getting a hell of a lot of melon seeds, so I've overdone it with the production of them. We've got a good excess of birchwood as well, so they're the 2 ingredients that go into the squeezer carpenter setup here. So we could of course just create a second squeezing carpenter to double the output of the impregnated sticks if we wanted to, but I think we're alright for now. This isn't actually keeping up. You saw this has got less in it than it had earlier, so when it's running 2 alveolis we have not got enough production of impregnated sticks, and that's going down some more. I'm going to have to add some more fertilizer into the fertilizer outside. But yeah, one setup there is not enough to keep up with production, and that will be getting full power, so that'll be running at its maximum. I'm fairly certain. Yeah, I'm positive in fact. Although with that running and the quarry running, that may not be getting its full power, so I might be slowing it down a little bit. Let's have a look, and that looks pretty quick to me, so that's probably getting full power. Probably. But yeah, if we wanted to, looks like for every alveoli with that frame set up, you'd probably need a dedicated squeezer carpenter setup for, I'm guessing. Oops. And jetpack's run out. I was keeping it, it's not run out. Going to that, oh, so we've got 4 energy in it, excellent. So I've fallen down into the basement, wonderful. Let's get our race eye and an ender pearl. Get back upstairs. Good job you had them with me. I was running. I've not charged this up. I've not charged this up on purpose, because in this episode I was going to make a charger mat. I thought I'll make a charger mat and I'll keep this low so I can show you how quick it'll charge it up once it's charged. But that of course is limiting my movement now, so I need to get on with that. I made one more in pattern since last episode. I made it off camera, and it's a pattern that actually crafts the adjustable energy storage unit, and that all that takes is, as we showed before, 8 little apatronic crystals around one of the GregTech computers. That I believe there's one in here somewhere. Where are you? There it is. GregTech computer cube. So we've got one of them. So we're actually I made some more iridium plates. There's 11, so we need 7 more to craft this. So now we can just craft that adjustable energy storage unit automatically, and that should pop into here somewhere. There we go, our first GregTech Energy Storage unit. That can take 2048 input, and the output's adjustable up to 2048 as well. So we can look at moving our setup there. I was going to move it onto the roof, but of course I'm going to need a jetpack for that, so I've given myself a bit of a catch-22 situation here, because we're not actually going to reach where I want to put it. Right, well, we can work from that. First thing I want to do is I want to stop them going in there, because we're going to empty this out, and I don't want it to start producing more scrap until we're ready again. So they can all go in there. If you remember, this is set up on the recycler with the redstone signal to only produce when there's no scrap in the ME network, or when there's less than 16, should I say. So this turns on whenever there's less than 16. So now that all them scrap out of there are in there, that's what I'm going to turn on. So keeping our scrap level limited, so it's just in time. 92%. We might as well make one more UU matter before we pull this apart. We can do is we can take these off, because we're going to want them where we're moving this to. We'll leave the power on there for now. We have got enough iridium to make a couple more advanced, maybe even hybrid, but not going to make them just yet. It would have actually probably been better if I had 4 ultimate hybrids made before moving this, but no big deal. If you watched my fusion reactor videos, I did say, look at that over there. I did say when I made that in hindsight I'd probably started making a fusion reactor after I made 4 ultimate hybrids, and I maybe still agree with that. That once you've got enough power generation with this, you can start creating the things you need to make a fusion reactor. But judging by the way 1.5 updates are going, I don't think I'll be on this server long enough to make a fusion reactor. I'm not sure. I'm going to think about that over the next day or two, and I may do it. I may add a fusion reactor. I just don't know yet. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to open up a little square in the roof. I'm going to make it a 3x3, and there goes the maze breaker. That's lasted me a good while. I think I've got a pick of the core in here waiting to go. There we go. I'm breaking an efficiency on a pick of a core that I'll just let burn down, and I'll eventually replace with a pick of the core with repair on it. And that's okay. Let's put that bag back, and let's finish off breaking that. So these glass viewer blocks are quite hard to break actually with non-standard picks. I don't think it takes the efficiency of that into account. And let's see if we've got our, look at that, that's going quite quick actually. That was 91%, we're up to 20 already. Excellent. Let's cut that down a bit. I don't like 10 off when it's part way through one, but I think we've got no real choice. So, well, it's not the end of the world, is it? Let's just turn it off. First thing we're going to want to do is, what is the first thing we're going to do? We're going to want to place our adjustable energy storage unit, and I'm going to place it there, like so. And that's facing the right way. I want the power going inwards because we're going to have the matter fabricator next to it there. So that's all good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to surround that with a little cluster of, at the minute, 1, 2, 3 ultimate hybrids, but we'll be able to get a 4th one onto there as well. And the 4 ultimate hybrids will give that its maximum input of 2048. Now, if you look at the interface, oops, I didn't want to do that with the Omni wrench in my hand. Put it back that way, get rid of the Omni wrench. Let's look at it with something else. So if you look at this, you can charge your stuff in here as well, but the output by default set to 32. We're going to be putting that up to 2048 because the matter fabricator can take 2048. So this is going to put all its power that it gets straight into the matter fabricator. That'll be next to it. How are you doing, matter fabricator? Oh yeah, I'm effing about here. Screw it. Let's just break it. Plop. Let's break you. I think we may have to do that from the top. There from the sides. Let's do that from the top. There we go. And we can plop that up there. Next to that. I really should have just charged my jetpack a bit, shouldn't I? Stop effing about. Let's get a little bit of charge on there. I don't have to charge it all the way, do I? Been a bit of a fool here. Let's just charge it up to 100k. There we go. Put that back on. And now we can fly around instead of dicking around like a tool. Okay, now let's add our hybrids onto there. 1, 2, 3. And then the fourth one I'll put there next to it. And we'll have to have another bank of these on this side, so we'll have to get 6 there. And we'll be able to put another 2 on the sides if we wanted to, but we won't be doing that just yet. I've taken too many bits of glass out of the roof. We probably want to just keep that covered up for now. And I've given myself no way back in, so let's jump over there. So we've still got a side and the bottom open, so we could actually fasten the buses straight to this, but I've decided to use routers instead. So what I'm going to do is we're going to attach a router there, and we're going to attach a router there, and I'm going to add a machine filter to both. Not sure if I need it, but it just helps to be able to isolate which machine you want to talk to. So matter fabricator and matter fabricator, so now they can only talk to the matter fabricator. Now this one here I want to insert into the matter fabricator into the bottom side, which should put scrap into the matter fabricator. That's part of why I left a bit of a gap. So now we can look in there and that should have scrap in it. Have you got scrap in there? Yep, that's working. Excellent. And then this one, we want extract, but we didn't want it like that. Let's put that back to insert for now. And extract from south sides. That should work. Let's just check where that scrap's gone. See if it's gone back into the right place. So the scrap's gone back in there, and unfortunately we can't put a UU matter in there. We've got to wait for it to actually produce one. So now what we can do is import bus. Like, where should we have these? Let's have them on the side. Put that bit of glass back. Like so. And export bus on the side as well. I didn't face that the right way, did I? Let's there we go. Our export bus wants a bit of scrap in there. One scrap. Scrap will be there. So let's stick a bit of scrap into that. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Let's put a bit of scrap into the export bus, and as always, we want to move stacks. So that can go back. That can go back in there as well. And now we just want a bit of ME cable, and we might have enough here. So let's have a look. I want one on the side. Oops. One on the side, and then 1, 2, 3 down. Excellent. Now something's happening there. Our scrap levels should be going down. There you go. So it's putting scrap in. We've got 73 UU matter. So we'll see when we get to 74 if it ends up where it should. I think it should. And I made it so you can't see it touch the matter fabricator, which is maybe a bit of an issue. But there you go. It's feeding the scrap back in there. That's all good. It's getting the same amount of power. It's not quite. Before it was actually getting extra power, wasn't it, from there? But it's not getting that in a minute. But it's getting 1500 EU a tick. And now our next upgrade, when we upgrade them, it'll be getting 2048 a tick. So the maximum input from that adjustable there. So that'll do us, I think. That's looking good. And then whenever that produces, of course, the import bus is going to put it straight to the network. So that's good. That's an upgrade for that. And that's obviously expandable. We can get, as I said, 4 on this side as well. Yep, and even if we want to, we can get an extra 2 in front and the back of it. So we can completely surround the matter fabricator with ultimate hybrids. Excellent. So now, that's the first thing done. I'm going to utilise this space here. I should maybe, in fact, not maybe, I should definitely at least give it the power. Yeah, I should at least give this the power from the solars up here, even though it's not much. But the other stuff definitely doesn't need it, so we might as well connect this wire across that way now. So let's face the output of this way. Oops, didn't mean to do that, but there's hardly any power in that anyway, so that's okay. We can put that back facing the right way now, and we'll just add a little bit more power into that system from them solars. 3, come on. I need a bit more wire by the look of it. Cable. Is it 2 or 3 more? Let's grab some more cable. Let's grab all of it and sort it out in a sec. And then one more should do us. There we go. So that's getting a bit more power there until we get the other one on. Actually, that'll help trickle that and fill it up a little bit, because obviously that'll only be putting in what that can take. So on night time, it's going to drain out again. That's alright. It's not getting much from there. 8, 16, 24, 32. It's getting 40 EU a tick. Not much at all. Let's just sleep again. Make sure the solar panels are working well. And now we can move on to making a charger mat. Now a charger mat I'm not going to make a pattern for, because we're only ever going to need to make one. So let's look at the recipe of that. Charger mat. 1 Lapatronic energy orb, well, we can make them. GregTech computer cube, we can make them. And steel machine hull, we can make them. Energy flow circuit, we can make them. So that's all good. So let's use the auto crafting to craft all this stuff up. And where do we start? Let's start with one of them, and then energy orb, one of them, and energy flow circuit. Where are they? They're down here somewhere. Yep, 4 of them, and a steel machine hull. They're down here as well, I believe. There is one of them, and a couple of chests. There's a couple of chests. Was the other side like that? I think there was. So we should have all our bits in here now. And they'll be up here in the crafted area, I think. Yep, so one of them. And where the hell's everything else? Must be, I cannot put them into the crafted materials bit. Or is it waiting for stuff? It's not waiting for stuff, so everything I click there should be in there. Okay, let's have a better look. As always, I could search by there they all are. I could search for these using the search bar there, but no real need to. There we go, charger mat, excellent. And charger mat needs power, so I'm going to connect it straight to this. It can take 2048, so it can take the adjustable or the interdimensional straight into it, but we're just going to put it to this 512. And yeah, is that going to be right there? I think it is. Let's use a bit of this cable actually and bring it out one, like so. And then this is a bit messy. I may move this at some point, but just to show you how to set it up. Now I have got a little separate video on how to set one of these up, so you could look at it there as well. And we're going to one. Alright, I made a couple of items ready for this off camera. We're going to want another ender chest, and we're going to want an ender pouch. Ender pouch is ender pearl, a bit of wool. Wool, where are you, wool? You wool, you are. Some leather, I think, is it 3 leather? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4 blaze powder. I think that's quite sad, isn't it, knowing that without looking. Needs to get out more. It's been said many times. And even worse, can I put it all in the right order? Oh, there we go. One ender pouch, very sad. Hope you all feel sorry for how sad I am. Now, we need to set that to a colour we've not used. So I need to check what colour this is. That's 3 reds, okay. What colour is this? That looks like that's 3 reds as well. I must have made another one of them. Is that 3 reds or 3 oranges? That's 3 oranges, okay. Is there anything in there? Right, 3 oranges must be my input chest and my quarry. Yep, it is. Okay, we need to change the colour of that, so we might as well leave it there. Let's grab some dyes out of here. And our charger can be lime green, let's say. 1, 2, 3. There's no need to change all 3 of these, but there's no harm in doing it either. So let's have them as lime green, excellent. And then we need a little bit of pneumatic tubing. We need 1 piece of pneumatic tubing, 2 pieces. Now I put some in here, but I think I may have taken it out again. And nope, there it is. Left it in there. Excellent. Now, if you're playing on a server and you want this just to work for you, what you can do is you can see when I place this. Let's so where's this going to go? This. Which way should I have it? Let's have it coming out this way. Okay, so that can go there. If you play on a server, what you can do is you can put a diamond onto the latch there. See, the latch is selectable, same as the colour slots are selectable there. The latch is also selectable. You can put a diamond on there and then that'll lock it to you, so when you open it it'll have your name there. And then that'll be a private network for you. But as I'm on my own, there's no need to do that. Right, what we need now is we need 2 bits of pneumatic tube, 1 there and 1 there. We need 2 transposers. There and there, and then it's to be turned round. So let's get my sonic screwdriver out of there. There you are. Put that back for now. Sonic screwdriver, and we want the bottom one to put things in to the charger mat, and we want the top one to take things out of the charger mat, like so. And then we need a pulse on them, which is why I've got a timer. So this is going to look a bit messy. I made up this with jacketed cables to tidy it up, but I'll wait until I move these somewhere else as well, because it's not the best place for them, right in the middle of the floor. And then put our timer down, and I'll just show you the timer recipe real quick, but won't go into too much detail. It's just the usual logic stuff, anodes, cathodes and stuff. If you don't like making them, obviously the auto crafting in the ME network can be very useful for that. I'm going to set that to 10 seconds. So that'll pulse every 10 seconds. So now what we need to do is get up ender pouch, shift and right click on the ender chest, and all the ender pouch is matched to it. So the colours have gone green on the front of it. So this ender pouch is now matched to the ender chest. So now, at risk of losing my jetpack, I am going to throw my jetpack in there. And next time the timer pulses, it should have pulled that out, put it into the bottom. The charger might go in from the top or the bottom, so it should have put it into the bottom there, which it has. And then it'll put it into this side once it's charged, and then the next pulse will pull it out of the side, which this can be on any side. So that should have pulled it out, back into the ender chest, so back into our ender pouch as well. So now you can go anywhere without fear of running out of power, because you've got that set up. Pretty simple and straightforward, very useful. And on the shared server, we just have one of them set up that everyone can use, and everyone just grabs a bag and keeps it on them. Excellent. So that bag is another bag that can go in there. So now if I'm out and about or in a Mistcraft Age or anything and my jetpack gets low, or any other electric tools that you have, obviously I'm using manual tools here, but if I had a pick, advanced drill or a chainsaw or anything like that, they all go in there. And of course armour, if I had quantum suit. When you get a gravity suit, even with an ultimate hybrid helmet, you still do run out of power a bit. That can go in there, and I guess the modular power suits, because they're charged off of you as well. So your modular power suit, you can go big style with your damage, because you can always charge it up on the move. So that's nice as well. So there's that setup. Excellent. So that's what I had planned for this episode. I'm guessing it's going to be quite short because I kind of rushed through that a bit. I've got another note here that I forgot to explain, so let's get rid of that and I'll explain this as well. I don't want to break the pipe behind it. There we go. So you see, before I had 2 induction furnaces. I've now got 4, because these only take 8 things. So there's 8 types of metal dusts going into there. We've got various things going into there: Zycraft stuff, aluminium, cinnabar and slag. And in this top one I've got the basic and advanced processors, because they need cooking as well. And they're just items. And then in this one I've got our first auto crafting on a machine here. I've got an ME interface up there, and in the processing bit you can put your patterns in there. We've got 3 patterns. We've got one to make refined iron from normal iron, one to make silicon from quartz dust, and one to make glass from sand. So I've added them into there, so they just show up like they do from things in the assembler over there. So if we look down, if we took all our refined iron out, which we can do just to show, in fact don't need to do that at all, put that back. If we switch that to craftable, you'll see that in our craftable stuff we've got refined iron there. Now it's a little bit different when you do this one, and I'll show you for why. If we get, let's put that back to normal. If we get a normal iron and a refined iron, and if we get a blank pattern, we're down to 1, so I've made 63 patterns up to now because I made a stack of 64. Now if you put this in there, the default thing is, obviously for an iron ingot, the default thing in a crafting square is to make it into iron nuggets, but we want it to make it into refined iron. So what you need to do is you can put things in there as well to overwrite that. So now you're telling that even though the default crafting for an iron ingot is an iron nugget, this is telling it that we don't want an iron nugget at all, we want refined iron. So I am going to encode that just to show you, and then we can come out there. That's gone now. Now if we was to put that into here, you see when you put it in, it's got a red square on it because that's not valid. You cannot craft iron into a refined iron, so that's not a valid pattern. Yeah, if we put it into there, it is valid when it goes into a furnace, so that works okay. And I don't know what I did earlier, but when I did this I ended up with loads of iron nuggets in my system, so I did something wrong somewhere. That reminds me as well. Oh, also, to get rid of that, just put that into your hand, shift right click, and that makes that a blank pattern again. So you don't, if you make any wrong patterns, you can just get them back, just like that. And it also reminds me, you may notice I filled this up. I've got a couple of, all of these are pre-formatted. And I've got 3 in there just called empty. I just made them to get them out of the way, so I had them made. And all I've done with them is I've pre-formatted them with, if you look at them, I've pre-formatted with one of the iron nuggets that I made by mistake, so there should be no iron nuggets in my system, so nothing will go into these until I format them into something that I want. So I'll just put them in there as like placeholders for now, so they're ready to go when I expand. I've got room to expand into for other stuff. So the things I've got in there now, of course, you've seen ingots, gems, crafted. I made one called blocks, and that's got like dirt, cobble, stone, stuff like that. This looks like my quarry's gone through a dungeon there, by the look of it. You see they're all lumped together. So these are in the blocks storage unit, like stone, gravel, stone, brick, obsidian, dirt, cobble, never brick, soul sand, and sand, I believe, up to now, so we can expand that at some point. And I think that's all I had to say for now. We had 73 UU matter, we should have more now. Or do we have 74? I think we had 73, now we've got 74, so that's working okay. And I guess I'm going to have to start using some of that to make iridium, so we can keep chaining these into ultimate hybrids. But we're well on the way now. You see, each time you make one of these, the next one comes quicker. So, and that'll keep getting quicker and quicker. Suppose I could start making fusion coils for a fusion reactor. Have a quick look on camera here, however that's going to be. Put in fusion, you need 24 of these fusion coils, which are quite heavy, because it's like 48 Tesla coils, and then highly advanced machine block, you need 96 of them. 24, 60, yeah, 96 of them. That's heavy. Of course, they take titanium and chrome, so you need a lot of chrome. So I need to start, if I'm thinking of doing this before we go to 1.5, I will need to start making a lot of chrome, because I've only got, what have I got? 31. And is that 4 times 96? 370, 384 is it? Need a lot of chrome for that. And then what else do we need? Energy flow circuits, so just 24 of them. Superconductors, again quite pricey, because these things, superconductor covers, now there's 2 types of them I think, isn't there? There is. And I think that one's a cheaper one. I believe that's a cheaper one, and even that takes tungsten iridium plate. Makes you 4 of them. And let me just check what the other one does. That takes, yeah, it takes 2 iridium plates to make 3 of them, you see. So I'm pretty sure, when I worked out before, it's cheaper on iridium. It's always iridium, that's your limiting factor on these things. Cheaper on iridium to use that recipe for them. And there's different ways of getting these coolant cells from the different cells you get as byproducts. The simplest one is to make 60k coolant cells. Oh, look at that coolant, interesting. 60k coolant cells you build up. No, that's probably not the simplest one actually. Let's have a look. Come on. 60k, yeah, that's just helium cells, so only about 10, so that's miles easier. And then your NAC ones, they're a combination of several cells, I believe. So you still need to make 10k coolant cells, then potassium, sodium, yeah. So I reckon the cheapest one of them and is a helium cell, and the cheapest way to get a helium cell is, I believe, centrifuge and endostone. You can then centrifuge glowstone to get one. But I'm sure. There you go, endstone dust. Gets you a helium cell. And we can get loads of endstone dust. And I believe I showed this on the main server on one of the fusion reactor videos. If I was to grab a big, in fact, we'll keep it light. Let's put that back. Let's use some of that stuff. We'll go on a little journey to the end. So jump in there. We're going to get attacked by silverfish. Oh, no, not attacked by silverfish. Let's jump into the end. And I'm off the edge, as always. On a scary little block. Now, I wand of exchange. Break one of these. And then put a marble down there. Set that as our target, and now we can just get all the endstone we want. Nice and quick without having to actually dig it. Grab a whole load of that. So many stacks of marble did I bring? I might as well, while I'm here, I might as well change all of them to endstone. The Endermen will think they're going up in the world with this nice marble floor. And of course you could take your time and change all of this to endstone. I think another option, if you wanted to actually go through the thickness of the island as well, is I think if you did this with wood, turn it all into wood, and you could set fire to it to burn the wood away to get access to the next layers down. Possibly, maybe an idea. If you wanted to actually go, because it's quite thick, these islands. Look at that. There's the wand of exchange will have only been hitting the top, maybe a couple of levels, maybe just the top level actually. So we'll go across to our book over here, and we've got a good few stacks of endstone. It took me no time at all. Of course, I need a centrifuge to be able to put that through, and I was tied up with platinum in a minute. But that gets you your helium. That's totally the easiest way of sorting that out. Not that we need it yet. I'll just show you that more of an example. And that might as well go in our blocks chest actually. So let's grab our blocks. Blocks, where you gone? Let's grab our blocks. Let's add this to the format. Endstone format. Put that back. And now they'll go into there as well. So we've got some endstone if I decide to make a fusion reactor. Let me know what you think. I reckon 1.5 will be coming pretty quick. So I don't know if I'll get much use out of a fusion reactor for the amount of effort it's going to take to make one. And then of course the last thing that I ain't gone through here is iridium neutron reflector. Each one of these takes an iridium plate, so you need 24 iridium plates for that. And then these are a little bit of a journey to make these. You need to make a hell of a lot of these, so you need 24 times 8 there, and each one of them takes 4 of them, so you need 24 times 8 times 4, and you need 24 times 8 times, no, 24 times 8 of these beryllium cells. These can come from two places. I have ender pearl dust, which we can do quite easily because we've got an enderman spawner, or emerald dust, which we can also do quite easy, but I think I'd rather use ender pearl dust because it's quicker getting ender pearls from the spawner than it is getting emerald dust from the alvery. So we'll probably go that way with that. And then that's not even the end of that. There's so there's that tier, then there's them with the beryllium, then before that you need to put all that stuff together to make them. So it's quite a convoluted craft just to make the 24 fusion coils. And then of course there's the fusion reactor itself, and that actually isn't too bad. We've made everything on here up to now apart from the super condensators. You need 2 of them for this. We made the GregTech computer cube already, and energy flow circuits and Lapatron energy orbs. We've made all them. So the only new thing there is the super condensator. If we look at that, that's all stuff we've seen as well. It's just more than superconductors either side of another advanced machine block, and energy flow circuit, energy orb. So again, it's pretty straightforward. It's just quite material intensive. Well, that would get us a fusion reactor, and that would open up a whole new level of power production. So I'm going to have a think about that, and I'll let you know tomorrow. I might actually do that. Right, I'm going to cut the video, I'm going to see how long it is, and I'll see how much I need to add. Back in a bit. Okay, back again, and clearly I can talk forever, as we're well over 30 minutes, so I'm going to wrap up there. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you join me next time. Cheers, bye!